Good afternoon, everybody. This is Miss Louisa, and today I am going to read two books. Add a Twist, Scientist by Andrea Beaty, and The Sunflower House by Bunting. Now, before I start, I have a little challenge for you. If you have Legos or anything similar, my challenge is either with one of these books or with any of your favorite books, I want you to build anything from within the book. It can be a character, a location, something a character has. It's entirely up to you. Add a Twist, Scientist by Andrea Beaty. Ada Marie said not a word till the day she turned 3. She bounced in her crib and looked all around, observing the world, but not making a sound. She learned how to climb and made her big break, with a trail of chaos left in her wake. She ran through the day, chasing each sound in sight, and didn't slow down till she conked out at night. Her parents were frazzled, but tried not to freak as Ada grew bigger and still did not speak. Clearly, young Ada with lots in her head would have something to say when it ought to be said. That's just what happened when Ada turned 3. She tore through the house on a fact-finding spree and climbed up the clock just as high as she could. Her parents yelled, "Stop!" as all good parents would. Ada's chin quivered, but she did not cry. She took a deep breath, and she simply asked, "Why?" Why does it tick and why does it talk? Why don't they call it a granddaughter clock? Why are there pointy things stuck to a rose? Why are there hairs up inside your nose? She started with why, and then what, how, and when. By bedtime, she came back to why once again. She drifted to sleep as her dazed parents smiled at the curious thoughts of their curious child, who wanted to know what the world was about. They kissed her and whispered, "You'll figure it out." Her parents kept up with their high-flying kid. Why? What? How? When? Why? Whose questions and chaos both grew as she did. How soon is now? What does it do? What is it for? Why won't it? How can I find it out? Why does it? How does it? How? Can I? Why? Will it be the same? What if? Why? Will it? When will it? When? What? A lot of questions. Even Miss Greer found her hands were quite full when young Ada's chaos wreaked havoc at school. But this much was clear about Miss Ada Twist. She had all the traits of a great scientist. Ada was busy that first day of spring, testing the sounds that make mockingbirds sing, when a horrible stench whacked her right in the nose, a pungent aroma that curled up her toes. "Zowie!" said Ada, which got her to thinking, what is the source of that terrible stinking? How does a nose know there's something to smell? And does it still stink if there's no nose to tell? She rattled off questions and tapped on her chin. She'd start at the start where she ought to begin. A mystery, a riddle, a puzzle, a quest. This was the moment that Ada loved best. Ada did research to learn all she could smelling and smells, both the stinky and good. One hypothesis Ada thought could be true. The terrible stink came from Dad's cabbage stew. She tested and tested, but soon Ada knew it was time to come up with hypothesis 2. Oh, what is she doing to his stew? Not. Then zowie, the stink struck again, just like that. Hypothesis 2, it's caused by the cat. The cat couldn't make such a stink on its own. She needed perfume and some fancy cologne. So young Ada tested. The test was a flop. She started again, but her parents yelled, "Stop! Ada Marie, to the thinking chair, now, by the time we count 3. Enough, said her mother. That's it, said her dad. Her parents were frustrated, frazzled, and mad. Why? Ada questioned. Her mother said no. What? Ada queried. Her father said go. You've ruined our supper. You've made the cat stink. Enough with your questions. Now sit there and think. She looked at her parents. Her heart turned to goo. Poor Ada Twist didn't know what to do. She sat all alone by herself in the hall, and Ada once more could say nothing at all. And so Ada sat, and she sat, and she sat, and she thought about science and Stu and the cat, and how her experiments made such a big mess. Does it have to be so? Is that part of success? Are messes a problem? And while she was thinking, what was the source of that terrible stinking? Ada Marie did what scientists do. She asked a small question, and then she asked 2. And each of those led her to 3 questions more, and some of those questions resulted in 4. And Ada got thinking. She really dug in. She scribbled her questions and tapped on her chin. She started at why, and then what, how, and when. At the end of the hall, she reached why once again. Her parents calmed down and they came back to talk. They looked at the hallway and just had to gawk. No patch of bare paint could be seen on the wall. The thinking chair now was the great thinking hall. They watched their young daughter and sighed as they did. What would they do with this curious kid who wanted to know what the world was about? They smiled and whispered, "We'll figure it out." And that's what they did, because that's what you do when your kid has a passion and heart that is true. They remade their world. Now they're all in the act of helping young Ada sort fiction from fact. She asks lots of questions. How could she resist? It's all in the heart of a young scientist. And as for that smell, what can Ada Twist do but learn all she can with her friends in grade 2? Will they discover the stink that curls toes? Well, that's the question, and someday, who knows? The end. All right, time for book 2, The Sunflower House by Eve Bunting. First, I pull out all the weeds. Then I sow my sunflower seeds. It says to set them in a line, but Dad says round and round is fine. I give them water every day and shoo the pesky birds away. Go eat the berries on the trees. These sunflower seeds belong to me. The package says they're guaranteed. A mammoth flower grows from each seed. My friend Bernice says, there's no way. You don't know everything. I say, wait. The stems poke up, all ringed around, a pale green circle in the ground. They're growing tall, they're growing fast. And, oh my gosh, sunflowers at last. All frilly yellow, big and bright, mammoth in the world. Mammoth is the word, all right. Their petals open wide and spread, a golden roof above my head. My friends come rushing down to see the sunflower house hand-grown by me. There's lots of room inside for 3. Mom brings us cookies and iced tea. But Mom and Dad can't fit at all. They're much too big and wide and tall. All summer long, the house is ours. We play in it for hours and hours. It's a castle, it's a cage. We're jungle beasts that roar and rage. My friends sleep out with me one night, bundled up and snuggled tight. Moon shadows shiver on the ground. The sunflowers whisper all around. They whisper songs of heat and rain and things too secret to explain. I see the stars play peekaboo and wish a wish that can't come true. One day the leaves are tinged with brown. A flower comes tumbling, rumbling down. Next day some more bend over, fall, and now it's not a house at all. We tie it up with string and sticks, but it's impossible to fix. It's gone, there's nothing we can do, not even with the glues, all glue. But wait! There's still the puffy middle part that's filled with seeds, enough to start another sunflower house next spring with walls, a roof, and everything. It's neat to think when something's gone, a part of it goes on and on. It's such a super duper plan, we pick out all the seeds we can. Our pockets bulge, the blue jays come, the sparrows, crows, they all take some. We still have lots and lots to share. Now be aware, prepare, take care. Next summer, they'll be everywhere. The end. So here's a thought. If you could plant a sunflower house, where would you plant it? What shape would you make it? And who would you invite inside? Right, well, that's it for this time. See you next week.